Hey everybody, this week we're talking about the head-neck-back relationship, finding head balance, and why is any of this important? So in this video, we're going to be exploring 3 ways of learning to sense the movement at your atlanto-occipital joint. Your atlanto-occipital joint, or AO joint, or we'll just call it the nodding joint, is where your head and your spine meet. It's roughly in between your ears, so if you put your fingers just lightly into your ears and imagine a beam of light connecting them, that's where your AO joint is. It's right in the middle there. So if I put my fingers in my ears, you can see that there's some head weight behind my neck and there's some head weight in front of my neck. So the joint where your head rests on your spine is not back here. It's in the middle of your head. When we look at the atlanto-occipital joint, we see the first vertebra of the spine and we see the bottom of the skull. The first vertebra of the spine, called the atlas, has 2 little indentations shaped like little cups, shallow cups. And the bottom of the skull has 2 bony protuberances that have like a little rocker shape at the bottom. These rockers sit inside the shallow little cups, and this is how your head balances on your spine. So when we look at nodding the head, just this small nodding motion, it's not really a big muscular effort. It's just you moving the bones of the bottom of your skull in the bones at the top vertebra of your spine. Obviously, it's not bone on bone. That would be very painful. But this is generally how they are connected and how they interact. At this point, I'll ask you to pause and go wash your hands because we are going to do some face touching. Find somewhere to sit so that you can have both feet comfortably on the floor, or so that you're seated on the floor cross-legged and fairly balanced without too much effort keeping you there. Then take your hands, put your fingers lightly into your ears, and imagine that beam of light connecting your fingers, imagining just that little tiny space in the middle of your head, where your head is balanced on top of your spine. And then nod, just a small amount. It's only 15 degrees of movement right at that joint in each direction. So 15 degrees up and 15 degrees down. It's not very much at all. Once you get beyond that amount, then you're involving other joints and you're involving musculature. So that's way number 1 to find the nodding joint. Way number 2 is to take your thumbs and place them in that same spot, just lightly inside your ears. Imagine that same little beam of light connecting them. And then wrap your hands so that your palms rest on your cheeks. And let your hands settle right onto your face. Using your thumbs to give a gentle rotation, you can start to rest the weight of your head into your hands. And then come back just a small amount. And so use your thumbs to guide your head to rotate a little bit forward. Again, it's just 15 degrees of movement forward and 15 degrees of movement back. And just test out this motion of moving your head weight forward and back on that atlanto-occipital joint, that nodding joint. And then let that go. The third way, I'm going to turn to the side so that you have a better idea of what I'm doing. It's hard to see this one from the front. I'm going to take my fingers and rest them behind my ears. If you feel around behind your ears, you'll feel these 2 little bony bits of your skull that stick down. This is the mastoid process. You don't need to remember any of these anatomical names. It's just so that you can get a clearer picture of what's happening. And so you find these two little bony bits sticking down behind your ears. Put your fingers there. And just like you just did with your thumbs, give a little bit of encouragement from your fingers to nod. So you're guiding your head into this nodding movement. Imagining it rotating around that little beam of light. So you're rotating your head in this nodding. So these are 3 ways of finding where your head is balanced on that AO joint, and of finding that little bit of movement that can happen freely without involving muscles of the neck.